Big news. Dreamhaven, which is a company comprised of almost all of the ex-OG Blizzard people, Mike Morhaime, Chris Siggety, Dustin Browder. These are people that left Blizzard. They made their own company. They have 2 games. I think one was project named Moonshot, and the other one was Secret Door. I don't know which one of these projects that is, but they've announced one of their games. So we're going to play this video. I might play the video in its entirety and then talk about it afterwards, just so that you guys, if this is the first time you're seeing this, you can watch this in its fullness, and then I'm going to give my thoughts here. Let's put it on.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I'm the studio head of Secret Door, one of 2 internal studios at Dreamhaven.
And I'm Erin, the game director, and we are so excited to show you what we've been working on. SUNDERFOK is a tactical turn-based RPG that you play with your friends, family, and loved ones.
It's focused on cooperative play in person, and it's really at the heart of what we're trying to do as a studio.
We were, with SUNDERFOK, really trying to create something that would inspire people to get together in person. We wanted to feel similar to a game night, getting together to play a board game, or getting together to play D&D with a group of friends or family or loved ones that you really care about, and to share that experience together side by side.
The board game table is something very special, and we want to create a video game that has those same elements. So we focused on this idea of collaborating together. We're using the phone in everyone's pocket as the control interface, and your phone being the controller allows you to have your own information as well as roll out only the information needed at any given time.
You also have the board space, which is what we kind of describe as the main screen. This is the spot that all the shared information will be, and it is really trying to parallel that experience of I've got a hand of cards and a board on the ground in front of us. In SUNDERFOK, you'll play through a campaign. This is very similar to a D&D campaign where you're getting back together, playing the same characters, kind of progressing, seeing that story through. You'll pick all of your classes together. We've nailed down a wide range of archetypes.
Those characters are based on some of the traditional types of characters you'd see in a role-playing game. One of my favorite characters is the Berserker, who fills the warrior class. My favorite ability on the Berserker is an ability called Fling, because you can pick up your friends and throw them further into the foray, or take an enemy, for example, and throw them back to your friends to deal with. So even the classes that are designed to be more accessible have depth to them in some really fun and interesting ways.
And so you'll kind of pick all of your classes together, and then you'll go into a mission. In the mission, you'll be defeating monsters, collecting gold, achieving objectives that are kind of set forth by you. You're not always just going in and it's like, defeat all the monsters. There's a lot of different opportunities for gameplay elements and trying out different builds. One of my favorite missions is Tower Defense Light. You're defending the gates of the town against an invading force, but the towers are these adorable bugs that are your NPCs. They're helping alongside you. At the very beginning of the mission, you get to name the bugs, and I am so committed to keeping those little guys alive. Once you complete that mission, you and your group will head back to town.
In town, you can head off and kind of do your own agenda. It's really purposefully built as a little bit of a reprieve from the focus of the missions themselves.
You and your friends can kind of go around independently, picking up that next item you need for your build, customizing your different decks, talking to different NPCs and townsfolk, building their affinity up. And once all of the players are kind of ready to move forward, they'll head out to mission select where they'll pick their next mission and then kind of deploy back out.
We've found in our own experiences that being around a board game table with loved ones, friends, or family is true togetherness.
SUNDERFOK is our way to be able to bridge that gap with folks that you've always wanted to share this passion with.
I want people to play these deeper, richer experiences around the table, but it can be challenging to do that. And so with SUNDERFOK, we're trying to go right at the heart of that and get them into some fun as fast as they can.
that's kind of where our mission came from. We're trying to give an entry point for folks already in the community to pull along their friends, their family, their loved ones who want to be part of that community as well. One of the things that I think is most appealing is when you come away from that table with your friends and you have this incredible story that nobody else gets if you try to explain it to them, but to you is such a strong emotional moment. I want SUNDERFOK to provide those opportunities too, and I'm excited for players to experience
I want to
that.
fucking barf.
Togetherness is at the heart of the studio.
Thank you for the raid. Welcome, guys. We're reacting to SUNDERFOK. I'm going to pause alerts here.
SUNDERFOK is our first step into that.
It's a very collaborative game, so it's really fun to be playing with other folks, working together to overcome these challenges, going on this heroic adventure together, kind of like talking through what the best strategy is. That's the experience that we want you guys to have.
Thank you so much for joining us to learn more about SUNDERFOK, and we're so excited to share more in the months ahead.
We appreciate you all listening in, and we're really excited to hear your thoughts.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute this and just have this play in the background while I talk. So this is really, really interesting. I think to understand the angle that Dreamhaven's coming from, you got to look at what happened with Hearthstone and how big Hearthstone was and kind of jaw-droppingly successful it was. Magic the Gathering and Pokemon and all these other competitive card games, they were just there. They were out there. You know, people grew up with them. I actually, as an example, like I had Magic cards as a kid. Sean, my brother, wanted to play Magic with me. We played one game, and we got in an argument. We were like really little kids back then. We got in an argument because he had a flying creature, and or I had a flying creature actually, and he had Wall of Woods, and I wanted to attack him, and he said I block with the Wall of Woods, and I'm like, you can't block a flying creature with a wall. It's flying. It'll fly right over it. And anyways, we got in this fight. I didn't understand the rules of the game, apparently. He was correct. And it kind of turned me off to card games. So I was never a competitive card game player. Anyways, back to my bigger point. When Hearthstone came out, it was a gateway for people like me who maybe didn't, for whatever reason, want to sit down and learn the rules and have it kind of memorized in my head. Or have to look in a rule book if I didn't understand how things worked. The fact that they made a competitive card game in an actual game apparatus where it just won't let me do an illegal move, and it kind of restricts me in that space and lets me basically forces me to learn the game properly. Turns out I loved Hearthstone. I was a top 100 legend rank player a couple times. I mean, I played it basically nonstop for about 2.5, 3 years. I was completely obsessed. And obviously Hearthstone was one of the most successful games Blizzard ever made. It was very cheap to make. It's still big to this day. It's still one of the most watched streams on Twitch. So Blizzard basically broke through and got access to a game that was sitting in plain sight, and everybody, including Magic the Gathering, was not taking advantage of it and designing it in a way that Blizzard did that made it so appealing and so attractive. So when you look at this game, what this is just like Dungeons & Dragons or these competitive board games, a little bit of like Warhammer even, kind of sitting in plain sight. And obviously there are these turn-based games already on your PC, but what they're doing is a little bit different. They're taking it and they're bringing it back into the living room. And this is interesting because this is in a time where it feels like everything is getting pushed further away. Like arcades have gone down in popularity, even in places like Japan. People play games online. The normal gaming experience is basically to play from home. Even fighting games now, they're all online. I come from a generation that grew up playing beat-em-ups, or playing, Sonic the Hedgehog with my brother. I would always make him beat Tails. Mario, all that. So it's pretty cool to see what this is, because I as well have also been turned off by the idea of playing tabletop games just because I don't feel like I have time to learn the rules, and I I don't know. There's something that's has kept me away from that. So to see this is interesting because I feel like someone like me could actually get into tabletop gaming. And they're taking advantage of two key things that everybody has. One is everybody has a smartphone. Two is basically everybody has a pretty big TV in their house. Big TVs are not that expensive anymore. I mean, any place I go, basically, there's always, unless you're in one of these super tiny apartments, if you have a living room, there's a big TV there. And especially in the U.S. and in Europe, people kind of congregate in other people's homes, for dinner and drinks. And it just seems like this is an idea that you don't have to have a console, right? It seems like you can just load it right up to the TV. I don't know if they made it clear how that would work exactly, but this is a really interesting move. And it's one, like, I look at it and I kind of go, I can't believe nobody did this already. Like, that's kind of mind-blowing. Like, this could spawn a whole bunch of games like this down the road. It's also clearly not actually a cell phone game, but is taking advantage of cell phone technology. I think for a lot of people, they imagined, myself included, I thought, wow, maybe all games are going to kind of move to the phone. And it turns out, most phone games are pretty bad. Hearthstone was great on the phone, although honestly, I would prefer to play on, a desktop or an iPad. But this is really cool. And so I'm really wondering what the impact is going to be of this. So this is really exciting. I don't know what the other Dreamhaven game is. By the way, I didn't know about what this game was either. This is all very new to me as well. But it's a really cool concept, and I'm really interested in seeing how big this gets. They never really mentioned microtransactions. Obviously, there's maybe like you buy quests or something like that, or like maybe the first quest is free. But it's interesting. For Dreamhaven to succeed, they need to get a game that has something like Hearthstone or World of Warcraft, some kind of revenue model that can fuel other games down the road. Like, I don't think Dreamhaven can make a game where you sell, I don't know, like a $40 game on Steam or a $60 game on Steam or something like that. I think they have to have something with microtransactions or subscriptions. It does seem like everything's kind of moved off of subscriptions now. It seems like more modern free-to-play games are just going to leverage microtransactions. But this is interesting because it's a really unique concept. And I look at it and I kind of go, I can't believe this hasn't been done already. It makes sense. And so, I'm excited. I look forward to checking this out. And those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this. Also, I'm really interested in what the other Dreamhaven game is going to be. I kind of imagine these would just both be two PC games that would probably be pretty good. So this is its own thing entirely. So very cool to see that. So thank you for joining me. Go to my merch shop at tastelessthreads.com. And you can always join me on my stream where I make this content live with my community. Have a good one.